All right. It's been a while. It's been a long time since we've done one of these bonus action little extra podcasts for you guys. And we've got a very special guest here today for the Duels and Mandorks podcast. We got Diana of the Rose. Hello. It's so good to see you.
This is our first time introduced as special, very special instead of just normal special. Oh my God, I'm honored. This is great.
Very, very special. Very special. I mean, it's not often that we have a, what do we call it? Content creator, streamer, DM, model, and someone who now apparently can become vitamin D deficient in Bend, Oregon.
God, word travels fast. Yeah, my powers know no bounds, apparently.
As someone who has suffered from like anemia for a long time, and I live in a very dark and dingy place. I live in Greater Cincinnati. It can be very overcast a lot. I'm very impressed at your success in the deficiency in such a sunny place.
You know, so is my doctor, and that's someone you never want to impress with vitamin D levels like that. I don't know what it is. I did have someone in my comment section saying like, "Oh my God, I'm the same way," but I live in Portland, and I was like, that does not make me feel better. I used to live in Portland. It's miserable.
I could never. The little bit of sun I get right now is like sustaining me. Not that you could easily tell, but
listen, I'm half Mexican. I'm not supposed to look like this.
Oh my God.
This is
I'm from deep within the Caucasus of Europe, if you will.
Yes.
So I got no benefit whatsoever. I stand near a window for too long, I get sunburnt. It's a disaster.
Irish?
A little bit of Irish, lots of Scottish, a lot of Scottish.
Nice.
It's hard to tell this lighting. Very red in the beard.
Yeah.
So the whole rest of me becomes red almost immediately. So it's a whole. We're not here to talk about our various nationalities and afflictions and climates and all of that. We're here to talk about Magic the Gathering, because I found out recently you commented on one of our podcast clips from a previous episode. We were talking about the Lorwyn set specifically with High Perfect Morkant. We were discussing how the mouthfeel of that name was not particularly great. It feels like it should just be Prefect, right?
It really does. And that gives it more of like I know the lore just enough to know that like the closer to perfect looking you are, the better. And that if someone's imperfect, it's like a whole different cast or whatever it is. I get that. Prefect sounds cool.
It really does. It really does. And the only reason we were talking about the card in the first place is because the internet was going crazy because foot. And that's the only reason we brought it up. It was the only preview card at the time, and we were like, people are being crazy, and then it was a tangent. But you were very kind when I sent you a DM, be like, hey, you should just come on our shitty little podcast. It'll be awesome.
Dude, at this point, if anyone is like, hey, come on my podcast, I'm like, sure, when, where. I don't bet anything anymore. I'm just here for vibes. But honestly, no, I think I've been following you guys for some time. I love the fact that we've definitely passed each other at various conventions over the years and never said hi until now. So I appreciate you inviting me on.
Well, like I told you, I've seen your stuff since like the OG I DM on the floor video.
Yeah.
And I've been aware, and I could have sworn I had followed you on that account. It was probably my personal account, which I think I lost the password to a couple years ago. I just use the Dungeon Bros TikTok at this point. But the reason I wanted to have you on specifically, you were very into the D&D world right now.
Yeah.
My former roommate and I, Sam, when we started the Dungeon Bros, it was all D&D all the time. It was what we were doing constantly. And we were loving talking about it, doing dumb bits and stuff. And when we got close to like the 2024, the revised 5th edition is when we kind of like it tanked off very heavily for us. I specifically pulled out the
shirt.
D&D World Tour.
I'm just wearing like a cidery shirt.
Well, this
I'm
one
not living up to the name.
This one is from it's totally fine. You're wonderful. The shirt's from when they were doing like a preview thing for creators at Gen Con. And I got to meet Oh my God. The guys who wrote the book and then left to go to Critical Role. Holy crap. I'm so
Jeremy
out
Crawford
of
and
Yeah, Jeremy Crawford. Yes. I met them and they got us the Player's Handbook early by like a couple weeks or something. It was awesome. Super cool. But I got that and I was like, I'm so excited to play D&D. And then I went to my roommate and I was like, we should play this new D&D. And he's like, I'm really busy, dude. I'm like, okay, I'll go to my other friends. And I was like, let's play the new D&D. They're like, I don't know, man. I just, ugh. And about a year before then, we were starting to get into Magic as a collective, as a group of friends, so the segue from D&D to Magic as like the topic of conversation is kind of where we went with both the podcast. We started out as a D&D podcast and now it became a D&D Magic the Gathering podcast. Now it's fully Magic. And while I don't see you giving up D&D, you're all in. Absolutely love that. Love that for you. Quite frankly,
way too much money on this hobby to give up now is what it really. It's a sunk cost fallacy, actually.
Oh my God. Side tangent here. I used to love doing like cheap dollar store like foam craft things for terrain for D&D.
Yeah.
Oh. When I bought this house and when I moved in here, I had all I boxed up everything super nicely of all the D&D terrain, and I've been here for 18 months, haven't unpacked any of it.
Oh.
And I have like an entire crate of just crafting supplies for making D&D terrain, and I hate that I don't do it anymore because it was super fun.
Did you always play in person? Was the reason for having it?
We would usually play in person because when Sam and I lived together, we had an apartment and we basically turned half of our living room into the D&D room. And so we would be the ones that like, hey, come to us to D&D. It was great. We didn't have to go anywhere. And we had a table that had like a sunken center so we could roll out play mats. Like it was a good setup. I've done the digital D&D, the virtual D&D thing. For me, part of the magic is lost because I like being able to manipulate the pieces. I like building the terrain. During COVID, I tried doing the virtual D&D and I would like point my camera down and I would make a play mat and I'm like, all right, what do you guys want to do? Okay, I'll move because that was the fun part for me.
Oh yeah, it's like doing the war game style, like putting down spell templates and everything. Yeah,
absolutely. Oh, but wargaming terrifies me. That's like that's a bridge too far, personally.
It's a lot of D6s. I can't do more than like 4 at a time or else I get stressed out. The fact that like Warhammer or whatever is just piles and piles of dice and they're not even different dice.
I'm into a pile of D6s, you know. Magic requires a lot of D6s, I've found.
That's true. That's fair. I got to get into that side of it. I feel like the virtual and the physical both have their benefits. I think, especially when it came to COVID, all of the virtual people got pulled in so many different directions where there's so many people trying to make VTTs that were all ultimately different variations of the same thing. It's just the only difference was the degree to which it made my computer overheat when I started to run it in a browser. Roll20. And then I just kind of like couldn't get people into the one that I used as a DM. And I was like, all right, never mind. Just tell me what you want to do and I'll adapt to that. You know,
so do you remember when they were doing the revised D&D, they were also talking about the like video game where it was literally just like a map builder where you could play in the virtual and they ended up canceling it. Yeah, that was the one where I was like, it could get me.
Oh, really?
Because
okay.
The whole building of the terrain and like setting the board up stuff is what I really enjoyed doing to like as part of the setup. And if I'm like, oh, I can do that virtually and then it's an easy thing for other people to like hop in on, then suddenly that could have been the bridge. But they canceled a lot of stuff.
They did. Good God, that was a disaster on the project side. I will say, if that's what appeals to you, that whole vibe of like, hey, we're not trying to be a video game, but we're also still trying to not just be like a piece of paper, 2-dimensional style thing. Yeah. Palespire does the same thing.
Yes.
That's my preferred 100%.
I'm vaguely familiar with it.
Yeah, it's still, my problem is it's been in early access for forever, but at least the team's still updating it for however long. It's not abandoned.
My current life, working 1.5 jobs and needing to go to bed usually 30 minutes ago.
Whoops.
made an exception. It's not very conducive to playing D&D, actually, I've found. So
what do you think would fix that? I mean, because I feel like my perspective on D&D has always been, it's almost like it's almost like the dating world, right? Where you could go for one person or another on your roster, but whoever you end up dedicating the most time to and whoever you make time for in your schedule for is obviously who you end up liking the most. I feel like a lot of times scheduling issues just come down to not prioritizing because you're just not into it as much as you feel like your DM is. How do we get people into it to fix scheduling issues?
That's a tough one because I was always the one I wanted to be the DM so that I could gather the people. And when I was a player and I had to rely on someone else, I would try to get into it and I would try to live it live in the character, live in the world they're making. But it's just every single, I've made, probably 7 major characters that I've played in D&D campaigns, and we'll get like the Goldilocks phase, that first 7 sessions where everyone's into it, it's fresh, it's exciting, you're starting to level up, getting all the stuff. And it always seems like there came a time where it was, we had a session scheduled, someone had to bail, so we move it. And then we had it scheduled and someone else had to bail. And then 2 months later, no one's even trying to schedule it anymore, Yeah.
But the same pattern, honestly. I feel like it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the way the episodes are leaving off. Maybe it's I don't know. I want to get to the root of it, man.
It's a deep philosophical question that is well beyond the scopes of my brain, for sure. But we did not bring you on here to talk about D&D as much as you love D&D, you're way into it. A little lapsed. I will always have a soft spot for the dungeons and also the dragons in my heart. But we're here to talk about Magic the Gathering because as I understand, you're starting to get into it. How long have you been playing Magic for? Where did you start?
Oh man, I noticed a trend, same as you, where I moved into it from D&D, and so did all of our content creator friends. Everyone in the tabletop space did it at the same time at Gen Con 2025. For some reason, something was in the air. I bet the dudes who run the booths over there made so much money off of little newbies like me who are used to dice wandering up and asking about precons. That's when I bought my first precon. It was a lateral one for God knows how much, $110, I think, which is... that's lateral for you.
It's one of the good ones. It's one of the good ones.
It's a pretty solid one. Dude, ever since High Perfect Morcant, who should be perfect, Prefect came out. Oh my God, it's been great. It's been so much fun. But yeah, no, we all kind of got into it around the same time. I'm speaking in very broad terms here. I don't speak for everyone, but that was the con I remember where everyone was getting pre-cons specifically so they could hang out at a hotel bar after hours and play together for the first time and teach each other. And then we started having little nights where now I have a Discord server for content creators who are specifically in the ttrpg space to all play Magic together without getting their asses kicked by people who've been doing it for years. So we're all very new.
That's awesome. So for a little background, my journey was I got into Magic in 2013 when I was a freshman in college because of all people, my RA and the guy who lived across the hall from me were both deep from the early 2000s Magic players. And this was when the original Theros set, the Greek mythology themed one, came out. And we were all freshmen. We all were on the same floor, and we were like, "Yeah, sure, let's totally do it, whatever." And we did some drafts of core set Magic from 2013, and then did the Theros pre-release. And then we all realized how expensive it was.
Yep.
And stopped. And I didn't think about Magic again until Gen Con 2023, because that was when they had the D&D Adventures in the Forgotten Realms set.
Yeah.
So there was a whole D&D set, and then my roommate and I and some of our other friends that were there, we got the D&D precons and started playing it. And we're like, oh, this was fun. It'll be nice to have this, and like, oh, it's the end of the night. Let's just play like a little game of Commander with our precons. And then a couple weeks later, we'd been done that a couple of times, and we were like, man, I'd really like to take this card out, and I saw this card I think would go really well in it. Also, I kind of I like what that card in your deck does. Can I see that? That's interesting. I wonder if there's other and the snowball effect happened, and here we are. Oh, yeah. So, yep. do you basically exclusively play Commander?
I do. I want to get my friends into at least a standard night every now and then, just for the sake of having looser restrictions on the bullshit we can do with our decks. Okay. I floated the idea of having like I don't know, themed deck nights, but like really strict to the point that if everyone at the table decides that your card that you're playing at the moment doesn't fit a specified theme, then it gets countered automatically by popular vote, that sort of stuff. And Commander isn't super conducive to that, so I want to get into standard, but right now Commander is just dominating. And I don't know how, again, I'm new here. Has that always been a thing? I feel like I not at all. Standard being... Yeah,
so standard was the funnel that all Magic went through for... Since before it was called standard. It was just Magic at one point, like right at the very beginning. And then as more sets came out, they had to do like, oh, only this chunk of stuff you can play with, and only the most recent stuff. And that eventually evolved into what standard became. Commander started, it was starting back in like 2013, 2014. And that was when it was, have you heard the acronym EDH for Commander?
I have. I've never known what it stands
Elder
for.
Dragon Highlander is what that stands for. Elder Dragon Highlander. So
Why?
The original Commander format was there was a cycle of Elder Dragons from an old set that were these like 3-4 color, just like garbage legendary dragons that had like not great effects. And then Highlander was like a high deck count singleton format at the time. So they did Elder Dragon Highlander, where you just always had an Elder Dragon available. And then you had a deck of cards that was just one of everything. And then as time went on, it was like, well, what if it wasn't just Elder Dragons? What if it was other legendary creatures? And what if
it was like, let's say, an elf lady with cloven feet?
Exactly.
With emphasis on the feet.
Heavy emphasis. Heavy emphasis. I can only assume that the reason we've only seen elves for the most part from the knees up is because they were hiding it from us for so long.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine how much money they'd make if they stopped hiding it, though? Hasbro, if you're listening.
Only hoops, man.
I got an idea only hoops.
For you. So that's how Commander started. And it took off in... I want to say it was 2016 is when they started doing the first Commander precons, and they were garbage, absolutely terrible. Oh. And then later you were getting ones like Lathril, and you were getting ones like Edgar Markov and super powerful commanders. They were experimenting with the format, making cards specific for Commander. And when they started doing that, they found it was way easier to get into simply because there wasn't a meta. With standard, you have such a limited pool of cards, and you can do multiple copies of cards, and eventually a strong strategy reveals itself to be the dominant strategy in the game. Whereas with Commander, the door's so wide open, it doesn't fucking matter. You can do whatever you want. Play with whatever cards you have, play with fake cards, like nobody even cares. You could proxy up an entire deck. And the loose restriction of it and the low barrier to entry, I think, is what kind of exploded it into popularity. Nowadays, people are saying standard feels like it's almost dying, just with the quantity of sets that have been coming out. It's a whole thing. I don't want to just yap your ear off about it forever.
No, I'm down. I'm always down to hear the history of things, especially when it's like, I thought Commander was so much older than 10 years. Oh my God.
No, it's relatively modern, which also that format is crazy. I don't know if you know anything about modern.
I don't. My knowledge is limited to standard, and like I know that there's like historic, and then that's different from legacy, I think.
So legacy and vintage are paper, and those are just like you're basically playing with stuff from way in the past for the most part. Legacy is like you can only play with cards up to a certain year or a certain set, I think. I don't play Legacy. I don't know much about Legacy. Pretty sure Vintage is you can play with literally anything except for like a small banned list of cards that just like don't function anymore with how the rules have changed. And then you get into all the 60 card formats and it's ridiculous. What I want to implore with you and your friends, though, did you partake in the Lorwyn Eclipsed pre-release?
Did not. We only have one card shop in my town, and I'm always wary of going to like super popular events just in case. I swung by on release day to get my play booster, and then I skedaddled because I didn't want to interrupt anything.
So the most fun I have with Magic is pre-release because the limited nature of the card pools that you have, you get 6 packs and then you get like a little promo card and everyone's opening up these cards for the very first time in person. You're surrounded by a bunch of people that are cracking packs and you'll hear like across the room, oh my God, because they opened up this like super expensive mythic or like this crazy art treatment of a card or whatever. And then you get like an hour to organize the cards that you opened and be like, do I want to play green black elves or do I want to play like blue red elementals? And you kind of see what cards you have available to you and you build a 40 card deck right there. And then you get to play it against other people that have done the same with their pools. That is my favorite way to play right now. With the increase in number of sets, I mean good. You know, we got 7 sets this year. Like I got 7 pre-releases. Now, did I go to the Lorwyn Eclipse pre-release? No, because I had to work.
Quit your job.
So,
God. There are more important things out there. Like
girl, I'm
money.
trying. I'm out here trying, okay? This bitch over here eats so much fucking chicken and gravy pate that... And she's not even looking at me because she knows I'm right. She's also like, why aren't we going to bed yet?
Oh,
she's very upset.
One of those like do it for her Simpsons memes, but with just pictures of your cat.
Oh, quite literally.
And like a W2 pin underneath it.
Exactly.
Okay. I thought that so you get to keep everything at the end that you open.
Yep.
No matter what.
Yep. Well, you're basically pre-release kit's like $45 and you're getting 6 packs and a promo. It doesn't come with extra basic lands, but the game store that you go to will have basic lands for you to slot in. You can play with anything that you open, even if it's not cards from the set that you're opening. I don't know if you heard. The next set is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes, I did hear about this, and it was like a whole thing. To be fair, Wizards' response was a lot nicer this time than the Pinkertons, where they were like, hey, politely, you can still play with those cards, I guess, but like, be cool about it.
Oh my God. So that's a whole other history lesson of the Pinkertons and March of the Machines and March of the Machines Aftermath and that whole thing.
I did hear about that.
I'm working. Earlier today, I was scripting a video talking about March of the Machines Aftermath because that little mini set was so bad that it fucked things up ever since then. Like really? the reason that this TMNT. So just to clarify for anyone that is watching that may not know, the Lorwyn Eclipse pre-release kit. All pre-release kits have a promo card. It's a foil. It's one of the rares or mythics from the set in question. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is the next set, and some pre-release kits had rares and mythics from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set instead of the Lorwyn set. Now, we have only seen a small handful of the TMNT cards, and after pre-release weekend for Lorwyn Eclipsed, all of the rares and mythics for the entire set were floating around in pictures on Reddit. The response was, okay, well, let's just give you all the official pictures. You all have them anyway. There's no reason in fighting this and pretending it didn't happen. We'll figure it out on our end, which I think is the best way they could have possibly handled response. That.
Yeah, exactly.
But the reason I bring up Aftermath and the Pinkertons, March of the Machines Aftermath was like a follow-up set to a set a couple years ago, and they wanted to do something different. Their plan was, hey, we're going to take a 15 card booster pack and we're only going to put 5 cards in it. Okay. And we're going to charge the same amount. And the pool of cards for the set is not like 250 or like 190. It's 50. So it's a very small pool of cards. And then you're going to buy 24 packs of it for $120. And people said, fuck no, we're not going to do that. In what universe would we do that? The Pinkertons were sent after someone because when he ordered a March of the Machines play booster box, he was sent a March of the Machines Aftermath booster box before that set had been even really revealed. And then he opened it and just thinking it was March of the Machines, not knowing much about it, and posted a YouTube video of him opening it. And WotC was like, you're not supposed to have that. We're going to assume that you stole it or got it in nefarious ways, and we're going to send the actual literal Pinkertons after you for it.
The actual literal bad guys from Red Dead Redemption. Like, an insane move. This poor guy.
Yeah. I think eventually he got compensated for the cards in question, but it was not at first.
Yeah. It's good that there was a resolution. I feel like people tend to skip over the resolution part when it happened, so I'm glad there was one. There was one. We covered it years ago on the show when it was happening. It was insane.
But those like shitty little 5-card boosters that they charged way too much money for that had kind of not great cards in them, they thought when they were designing it, it was going to be like this amazing product that people were going to love. Oh, it's like an epilogue to like one of our like story arc ending sets. It's going to have all these cool cards in it that are exclusive to it. People are going to love it. It's great. And they hated it so much that they were like, oh, we need to change how we do this and not do it anymore. Because they had planned things like Assassin's Creed Universes Beyond was that style. They had planned an epilogue style set for Outlaws of Thunder Junction, which came out last year. It was like the Cowboys set. That ended up getting folded in as like a bonus sheet. Spider-Man that came out this year was one of those sets. And for that, they were like, well, let's just expand it. Let's make a bunch of cards like the New York City pigeon and the hot dog cart. Very Spider-Man iconic things. And expanded it into a full standard set. Oh, well, if it's a standard set, we can't have 7 standard sets this year. We gotta spread things out a little bit more. So Lorwyn Eclipse gets pushed from the end of 2025 to January of 2026. And when that happens, it gets pushed closer to TMNT. So their cards are being printed at the same time. And so TMNT cards end up in Lorwyn Eclipse pre-release kits.
Full circle. Oh my God.
It really is all the Pinkertons' fault when you think about it.
Yeah. God. Okay, so when it comes to epilogue sets like that then, right? And you mentioned it being very story heavy and kind of putting the bow on the end of a story arc. If the set had been actually good cards, ignoring the price point issues, ignoring the quality, ignoring the amount of cards in the set, do you feel like the story value of it being an epilogue set, as it's titled, actually makes sense for a game like Magic, for people who are coming into it, especially in this new resurgence?
It would have been if they had set it up in a way that it was earned. So I'm just pulling up the wiki for March of the Machines Aftermath just to make sure I'm getting my information here correct. March of the Machines was like a war, the conclusion of a war with the Phyrexians, which are like these mechanical experimenty things that have been like cropping up in random cards and sets for like 2-3 years. And then they had a whole set dedicated to them. And they're trying to take over the multiverse, go to all the planes of existence, and turn everyone into machines and take them over. The March of the Machines. A whole lot of characters in Magic presumably die. A lot of them become Phyrexianized, so they basically become machines and then are enslaved to Elish Norn, who was the one that was like leading the war. March of the Machines Aftermath was supposed to show what happened, like what situation all the characters find themselves ending up in at the conclusion of the war. Because the main set was just like, here's the big battle, the good guys won. And then it's like, okay, but what happened to this character Are they still a Phyrexian? Did they cure this person? How does this person feel about having to lose their planeswalker spark? All this kind of stuff. But because the story was kind of rushed through, Aftermath found itself as like a conclusion to a story that hadn't really been properly told. And then the conclusion itself was just kind of like, anybody can go to any plane now, and these people are around now, and they're doing stuff. And it was just kind of vague. So like the epilogue story part of Magic, I think, could have worked. But in the years since, they've kind of moved further away from doing Magic story stuff in a meaningful way, because they've been getting replaced by things like the Lord of the Rings universes beyond, things like Avatar, Spider-Man, other universes beyond, other IP. So it's a longer time period between like story beats. And they just kind of been like floating around doing a bunch of different stuff. It seems like they're going to bring everything together in some kind of story this year. One of the sets this fall is called Reality Fracture, which is going to be like the next arc kind of thing. But I mean, that all remains to be seen. If the set had more than 50 cards, I think it would have done a lot better, personally.
Gotcha. I've always struggled with the way that the stories are told in Magic as it is, right? Like I use, and this is only temporarily going back to D&D, I swear. I use a lot of like, even before I even played Magic, I would go in Scryfall, hit the random button a couple times and find a card with really cool flavor text and use that to seed ideas for world building. And in the end, now that I'm actually playing Magic, I have to spend so much time going through the most beige wiki known to man to try and figure out any semblance of lore about the stories, because reading the full books is something that I wouldn't do for D&D, and I'm still not going to do it for Magic, but I get that's where most of the lore is. I feel like the lore delivery in general needs to be a little bit stronger or reworked or something like that for all these new players that are coming in from universes beyond, you know?
No, absolutely. That's one of the big contentious points in the last couple of years, because that Phyrexian War arc had the potential to be really, really cool. That you go to all these planes and it's like, okay, we're going to sit on Kamigawa and we're going to have our little Kamigawa stuff going on. But there's this weird Phyrexian creature here. And then we're going to do our Streets of New Capenna thing. And then there's this weird Phyrexian creature. We're going to return to Dominaria. And it's like these kind of self-contained stories that they're like seeding things. Yeah. And over the course of 4 months, it's all the Phyrexians go to all the planes and invade. Everybody fights back and wins, and then it's done. And it's kind of left directionless after that. And because cards have also started to become more complicated, they've got more text printed on them. A lot fewer of them have flavor text, which was a big way to tell story like in gameplay as well. So it's the Magic story is something I've struggled with for a very, very long time, personally.
Yeah, I feel you.
Because like rough. I want to get into it. The lore is cool. Have you used any of the Magic crossover D&D campaign books?
You know, I have the Strixhaven one, and I'm really curious about the Theros one. I haven't gotten into it personally because I don't tend to run I already don't run Forgotten Realms in my D&D campaigns, so I don't stick to a lot of canon stuff in general. It's mostly homebrew, but I take the core concepts and stat blocks and reflavor them all. So I have them for reference, not so much for the story yet.
That's fair.
Yeah, I want to at some point. It's cool that they're returning to Strixhaven later this year. I know a lot of D&D nerds who love the Strixhaven like D&D crossover and have used that as like the most powerful on-ramp. Same with the Baldur's Gate stuff, you know. Oh my gosh, I have a friend who's got a Drizzt deck that she absolutely adores. And she's taken to this thing where anytime that she doesn't draw a land when she's absolutely mana starved, she'll tell us a new bit of some tidbit of lore about Drizzt and his cat and all that sort of stuff. We got into this one game where I started to learn about basically the dude's whole family tree, because she was getting the worst card draws known to man. And so people like that, you know, I think could be really into it. I'm excited to see what comes next in Strixhaven now that we've got some tidbits about it.
Yeah, no, Strixhaven, everyone was like I vaguely remember the first round of Strixhaven. People were like, "Oh, we're doing Harry Potter now. Cool, awesome." And then when you actually like get into it,
there's nothing you can do to avoid the comparisons.
obviously there's going to be similarities. There's always going to be similarities with Harry Potter for a magic school. But the whole concept of like the dragons that are the headmasters of the different houses and what the students are actually getting up to. With Secrets of Strixhaven, they're already kind of hinting it. There were some cards in Lorwyn that were characters that are students from Strixhaven. So it's kind of like we're actually starting to get a thread through sets now. They're kind of listening. It's just with the dev time on these sets, it just takes forever to actualize on feedback, which is a little unfortunate. Okay. Yeah. That's enough about Magic Story. I don't pretend to be a Magic Story expert because I'm not at all. It's just
I wish I was. That's all I'm here for, is to be like, man, it'd be cool if I knew more about this stuff without spending hours and hours on their wiki. Anyway.
Oh my God. Absolutely. So let's talk gameplay experience. So you all got pre-cons at Gen Con. What was it like figuring out the gameplay? Were you doing like a pre-con event at Gen Con where you had people that were walking around to help with the rules? Did you have someone at your table that was shepherding you all along?
Not so much a formal event. It was more like people who I knew, who I was friends with, who I could, in essence, trust not to over-explain things, that I ended up sitting down with at a table with. I didn't have time to do it at Gen Con, so I ended up bringing my deck back home, holding on to it, and not breaking it out again until PAX West, which is way too long. But so like the following year, basically. And I don't know. I did my best to draw upon what I knew from like hearing about other people who had played. Like I knew the basics of what tapping was and all that sort of stuff. But you know, I played one game of Standard back when I was in like high school and remembered it enough to hold my own, but not enough to know how it worked in Commander. And this was like the hot new thing. So yeah, mostly it was like me sitting at a table with people, everyone playing kind of like for the first time with their hands fully open. And I did have someone over my shoulder who was not part of the game, who was looking at my cards and being like, oh, you know, you should have played this in this order instead. You know, put this elf down first and then it gets boosted by this other elf. And so that's the kind of stuff I was kind of picking up on. But at the same time, there's a certain degree to which it would be a lot easier to do it not in a convention environment, you know, where it's like, hey, I have one friend that I trust who will both play with open hands, and I trust that they'll not be a dick to me and not mansplain stuff. And I feel like that should be everyone's learning experience, especially when they're really new to it. But
I think that you're wrong. We should have everyone have someone over their shoulder detailing and correcting everything they do wrong.
Oh, yeah. And their level of expertise is going to be measured by how long their neck beard is. And then we'll all have the best time. Half of us will have the best time ever. Yeah, no, I want to emphasize it's not just a Magic issue, it's a tabletop gaming issue in general when it comes to people kind of over-explaining stuff. But
it's a not to get too far into this point. I have always felt like it's just these kinds of hobbies attract a certain kind of awkward person. Like we're all kind of strange. We're not on the beaten trail, you know? And when you get that collective of people, you're going to have people that just don't quite get it, you know?
Yeah.
So I try to be more charitable because I know some people that it's just like you barely know how to interact with people. So you're just trying your damnedest and you're excited. I get it. And then there's the people that are like, I know this better than you, so I'm going to tell you because I know that I know I better than you. And that's in those environments, it can be pretty dicey. I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And honestly, like, I'm so willing to go into an environment where someone else knows more than me. That's most environments for me. I don't know shit. And I'm happy to admit that. But I also feel like it takes like a certain level of empathy, or even not even empathy, more just like conscious feedback loops where you're like explaining something to someone, and if they start to nod along and they're like, oh, yes, I get it, then you have to know to cut yourself off and trust that they do get it. And that's really it. I think that cuts off most of the problems at the head. Beyond that, everyone's welcome to like out and hang and play.
Oh, absolutely. Well, along those lines, one of the things I do, I coach a swim team. I was a swimmer in high school, competitive swimmer. And I found that when I'm coaching those kids, if I go way too deep into an explanation, it's in one ear, out the other, doesn't matter. Yeah. Explaining and then letting them fail, let them mess it up, and then be like, okay, what did we do wrong? And help people through that. It's like the number of times I've seen a new Magic player do their stuff, and then it goes to the next person's turn, and then like 2 minutes later, like, oh, I made a mistake. And it's like, okay, let's rewind. What would you have done? You know?
Exactly.
And let them try and redo, especially like Commander, like the stakes are so low.
Yeah, right.
We're not tournament grinding standard or anything. It's very low stakes. So to keep it back onto the gameplay for a little bit, you've played Lathril. You know the elf ball strategy.
I do.
I have built a Lathril deck just because I wanted to play with the Lord of the Rings cards. I love the Lord of the Rings set so much. It's a terrible deck. I built it horribly. I just was like, I'm cramming all of the stuff in that I like, and it like kind of functions.
Oh, those are the best. Those are fun.
They are very fun. I love a highly tuned, like it synergy. Everything's nice and clean. But just like a pile of stuff that I like they could be equally fun for different reasons. So we know you play the elf ball with Lathril. Have you dipped your toes into any other strategies? Are you excited about anything that you want to get into?
Oh man, I definitely want to get into more themed decks that aren't just good. I have to keep Lathril and Ulalek and Valgavoth and all those like big decks around for the sake of holding my own against certain friend groups. But every time someone's like, hey, I'm going to test out this really janky deck, I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to bring out my deck that's just entirely rats or something like that, or just little guys, and I get to determine what that means. I like keeping those sorts of decks on hand. I have yet to build them out fully, though. I think I tend to go with a lot of like the standard strategies of, I mean, for example, Ululek and Valgavoth. I didn't know that they were good when I bought them. I swear. I was in Australia and I saw that the American dollar is way stronger than the Australian dollar, and I got into PAX Aus on a media hour, and they actually sold me something, which I don't think they should do during media hour. But hey, they sold me two of the strongest like pre-cons that I've ever seen. And then I found out how strong they were when I was getting yelled at by all my friends for it. So I call it lethal paper cuts for Valgavoth. The occasional little thing like that is fun.
The Valgavoth, colloquially in the community known as the group slug, where you just beat up everybody equally. You know, I had a deck like that, and I ended up taking it apart just because I wanted its pieces for something that I found that I was more interested in.
What'd you put it in?
I had like a mono red, just like ping everyone to death. It was playing O'Hare Axonil, which is one of the gods from Lost Caverns of Ixalan. And it basically just, anytime I would ping you for one, it would actually be 4. And if I upped his power, like I doubled his power, it was like, oh, this thing that's supposed to deal 1 damage to you dealt 8. Sorry. And then it's just full of ways to deal 1 damage to people.
That's hilarious.
And it was super fun, and I loved pulling it out for like a game 2. Like if game 1 went long, I'm like, I'm going to pull this out because this is going to make things go very quickly just because people are going to start dying. I ended up pulling it apart just because I wanted the pieces for a Final Fantasy deck, actually. With the Final Fantasy set that came out, they only had a couple of Final Fantasy 16 cards because it was the game that was coming out when the set was being designed, so they couldn't make a whole lot of cards for it. But 2 of the cards were reskins of a partner pair where I want some pingers. I want things to do on other people's turns. So I was like, I don't play this much anymore. And whenever I do, people are like, yeah, the game was fast, but don't play it again. So I'm like, I'm just going to take it apart at this point.
Like, you know, mad respect to you, dude. I'm going to block your number, but hey, good job, though.
I respect you wanting to get the 3rd game in so that we could say we got 3 games in and not be here till 2 a.m. But stop.
I fully have yet to get into Final Fantasy, Lord of the Rings, any of that. I tend to, and this is my problem with UB, which I know everyone has the same problem with UB stuff, so I'm not going to get into it too much. But my personal beef with it is that I don't know the IP. And I tend to stay away from things that I don't know the lore of. I've never seen Lord of the Rings. I've never played Final Fantasy. I don't know anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I bought so much Lorewyn stuff purely because it's going to like keep me sustained for the rest of the year is where I'm at. So I can't I don't know, all my Final Fantasy stuff. People have given me so much of it. It's in a box. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Don't hate me.
I'm not upset. I'm just
Oh, no.
I'm just a little bit disappointed.
Oh no.
The D&D girly.
I know. Listen, whatever you're about to say, I swear to
D&D girly
God.
doesn't know anything about Lord of the Rings.
I tried. It was really long. I couldn't get into it. I'll try again later. Listen, I respect it for the history.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the history.
Oh no.
I'm
never coming on this podcast again. Oh God.
No. What we're going to do is, as recompense for this, you're going to invite me on the stream, and we're just going to do a watch party. Okay? We'll do half a movie at a time.
I was going to say my audience demands extended editions, so buckle up, bud.
The extended editions are like 2 hours per half movie, and they're on individual discs, so they have nice break points, you know. It's fine. My girlfriend lied to me about knowing Lord of the Rings when she met me, because she knew how obsessed I was with it. She's like, "Oh yeah, totally. Oh, I love that part. That's so crazy." And then one day she let slip that she was like, "Yeah, I can't wait to watch him someday." And I was like, "You what?"
How far into the relationship were you when she said that?
Like a year.
Buddy. Dude, shout out to her for keeping up the ruse that long, though.
Dude, she faked. She can tell it better than I can. And this is not her kind of thing. She's not the kind of person that wants to make content or anything. But this is crazy. I would share swimming stuff because I was a swim coach. I would share my team stuff on Facebook. Okay. And we had a bunch of mutual friends because we both went to the same university, and we had a lot of similar friends. And she friended me because she thought I was someone else. And I saw, someone from WKU that has 18 mutual friends with me is friending me on Facebook. I don't know who this person is, but clearly they know who I am. So I have to accept this because I'm not opening that can of worms of like, I rejected a friend request from someone I didn't know.
Oh, man.
She realized she didn't know who I was and that I wasn't the person she was thinking of. But then she was like, I'll send him a DM. And then was like, oh yeah, she's into bowling. She loves bowling. She was like, oh, I bowl all the time. I've got like bowling competitions and my shoulder really hurts. And my doctor said that swimming is a great therapy for it. Do you have any thoughts? And I was like, oh, absolutely. And I just like freaking spouted off a bunch of shit. And she's like, oh, great. Thanks. I should totally take you out for a beer sometime to thank you.
Dude, this girl's game is off the charts. Holy shit. Well done.
It was hook, line, and sinker. Didn't find out that any of that ruse had happened for like 5-6 months.
Oh, God. Did you know the guy that she thought you were? Or...
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
That's good at least.
So one of her friends, she was in a co-ed fraternity in college, and one of her good friends there was my roommate my sophomore year that I was friends with for like it was a whole thing. We knew, like, we were at the same wedding of a mutual friend and like years before. That's
kind of adorable though. That's really cute.
I mean, it is a little bit, I guess. Anyway, we're not here to talk about my relationship. That whole tangent to say you owe me for being a big D&D girly and not watching Lord of the Rings.
Fuck.
Okay.
You and the rest of the internet, get in line.
Me and the rest of your comment section and stream chatters and all that. I'm not gonna lie. I don't partake in watching live streamers. Like,
that's so
ever.
fine. It's so much of the time's up.
I don't like know the terminology very well for a lot of that stuff.
Chatters, audience,
friends,
not friends.
The people audience. The people that are saying shit to you live. I'm sure they haters. Have much more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got like the 5e compatible Lord of the Rings like starter sets, and I opened them up on camera and I was like, oh, this is great. Thank you so much. just straight into like the drawer of other starter sets I have. I opened it. I did a little review for the audience in case they were curious, and I was like, hey, this is great. They have elves, and yeah. Anyway, on to the next. So I did get flamed quite a bit for that.
You're making fantasy worlds, you're homebrewing stuff, and we're just ignoring the original fantasy.
Oh, it took me a very long time. I was like 3 years into this career before I figured out that like basically everything is based off Lord of the Rings. I didn't realize that foundational.
Everything, like all of AD&D.
Yeah.
All of Advanced Dungeons and Dragons is just like, yeah, we'll take orcs and we'll take elves and we'll take dwarves and hobbits trademarked. Let's go with halfling and
yeah, right.
It's insane. It's insane. All right, this has been a winding conversation. We lose the plot constantly, so this is just normal for the show.
Sweet.
The last thing I want to talk with you about, going forward, looking at the Magic that is to come in this year or beyond, what are you interested in? What do you want to learn more about? What do you want to try?
Oh man, I definitely want to try other formats. I feel like, especially if people are lamenting the fact that Standard is dying, if it really is, I don't know. Again, I'm new here. I feel like seeing where exactly it can fill the niche that maybe new Commander players are trying to fill, where they're like, oh, I just hate building 100 card decks. I want to know enough about Standard to be able to point people reliably in one direction or another. I feel like I want to, kind of like with D&D, personally, on a personal level, I just want to learn more about the game so I can guide people in that sort of sense, the way my D&D content is. On a more general level, more lore would be great. More lore would be fantastic. The pretty art is really cool. That's what sucked me in for the first time. The like paper cutout Lorwyn type art sets that God are so cool.
So beautiful.
So pretty. Yeah, I don't know. I like it. I like it a lot. I think I'm going to be here for a long time. Again, I say that because it's partially a tax expense thing, and I've spent a lot of money here. Yep, that's that's it. You got me. And it's cool also being able to help suck the rest of the D&D sphere into it, especially when it comes to being able to play remotely. I also want to see remote play kind of flourish a little bit more. A lot of people are using like Cockatrice and Spell Table. I hope Spell Table becomes really big. That would be ideal. That'd be amazing. Tabletop simulator, all that sort of stuff. Because especially with my community, the tabletop community, we don't see each other that often. It's 4 times a year at a convention, and even then it's like a mishmash of people not being able to make it to one consistent set of cons. And if the economy tanks, then we won't see each other all year. And so I'm glad that this is like a new glue for us that isn't as time consuming as D&D. So.
It is a much more plug and play community option, because I don't know if you've heard the sappy line about Magic the Gathering before.
That there's no such thing as a friendly game?
No.
Oh.
There are such things as friendly games.
Not with my pod.
You should play CEDH then. You should play competitive Commander. That's a whole other... Anyway. No, the saying is, the Magic is the gathering.
Oh, I get it now.
Yes.
Oh, I never put that together.
Yeah. The whole sappy thing is the magic of Magic is the gathering, of just getting the people together to play.
Dude, I assume, and I swear to God, this is the last time I'm pushing you off topic. Have you done the Pack Wars type thing? I'm assuming so.
Yeah.
Okay. Does your audience know what that is?
It depends, because there's a couple different ways you can do it. It's not something we've talked about a whole lot, but there's a couple ways where it's like Pack Wars is just like some people just open, and it's like who got the highest mana value of all the cards they opened, like the highest mana value on a single card. Some people it's who has the highest power of a creature on a card, who had the most expensive card. Some people do it's called Pai Gao Magic, where they open a pack and then they make, I want to say 5 3-card decks, and you have infinite mana, and you have 5 life, and you just play 5 games of Magic with just a pack.
Oh, fascinating. Okay.
oh God, why do I always game nights? It's like Jimmy Wong and Josh Lee Kwai and them. They've been doing a lot of shorts doing Pai Gao magic with like avatar packs recently.
Cool.
Hell yeah. So there's a bunch of different ways to do pack wars. Sorry, you were saying.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, I mean, I was just going to say, with regards to, like, you talking about community and things like that, and especially with, at least my community, the tabletop, like, D&D RPG space, getting into it more and more, something I've noticed is that since we've melded more with the Magic the Gathering creators and almost become this one big circle, anytime we have a gathering, which is usually karaoke, usually at a convention, at least one or two people will bring whatever booster box that either they got from someone who works at Wizards or in a PR package, or they bought themselves. They'll just set it down in the middle of a table at a karaoke bar, and then everyone does pack wars. And, we'll be ripping packs in the club now. And it's like the craziest, like, little nerd me in high school would have never thought this would have been a thing, but it's cool to see. It's the community aspect. It's fun.
It's so fun. It's so fun. So before we part ways for the evening, because I think the cat is starting to get upset with me. I've been hearing her like milling about. She's like, it's bedtime, Father. We've got to go.
Oh.
I have some homework for you. And if you are receptive, I would love to check in later down the line, sometime later this year, see how your Magic experience has grown. Okay?
Yeah.
So, have you done anything with Magic the Gathering Arena?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Not on stream, but personally.
Okay. Well, let's do that.
Got it.
It's a great way to learn how to do things like draft, doing sealed events in it, building decks and experimenting without spending a whole lot of money. Great.
Oh, I didn't know they did all that. Okay,
yes.
That's cool.
There's a whole tab there. It's very, very cool. You can even, if you're into spending a little bit of money, you could do like Battle Pass. You can buy packs, the whole kit and caboodle. Jumpstart. Have you ever heard of the Jumpstart packs?
I've read the outside of the box.
So, the most recent one was Avatar, and I think we're going to be getting. I think we're getting more Jumpstart with Marvel Superhero later this year. Basically, it's 2 packs that have a theme. And you don't know what the theme is till you open it. And it could be like red firebending for Avatar or like green cabbages or something. And it's like a whole bunch of cards. And then the bottom third of it is just basic lands. And the whole point is you take them, you shuffle them together, and you now have a 2-color 40-card deck that is ready to play right out of the box. And you don't know what it is until you open the packs. And it's an amazing beginner tool to learn how to play Magic because most of the cards are very, very simple to play. And the strategies are very straightforward. And it's also super casual because for $10, you can get 2 packs, shuffle them together, and you've got a deck ready made to play.
I'm down with that. I love that.
And I had one more. I lost it entirely.
Better not rhyme with Lord of the Shrings Extended Edition. I wouldn't put that on. I will not have the time between now and the end of January, end of year.
I would not foist that upon you quite yet. Okay.
Thanks.
I would not foist that upon you yet. I would like to emphasize. I want you to see if you can find a legendary creature that you are unfamiliar with, but something about it says, I want to make this deck for Commander.
Ah. Okay.
So,
hell yeah.
I want you to start streaming arenas occasionally.
I can do that.
Practice your draft. See if you can get any Jumpstart, some nice beginner-friendly stuff. I think Jumpstart's one of my top 3 favorite ways to play Magic right now. And cool. Find a legendary creature you like that you don't know anything about and just go for it. It could be new, it could be old, don't care.
Sweet. Hell yeah. Right, I accept the challenge. I'm super down.
Very good. Very good. As a parting thing, I just want to show off my favorite commander. This is Narset Enlightened Exile. It is from the Pinkertons Aftermath set. It's one of the cards from that set. And it's my favorite. Narset Enlightened Exile. Narset. I have talked about this card on the podcast quite a bit. It gives all creatures my favorite keyword, which is prowess. And I love this deck to no end, and I'm constantly cycling new cards in and out of it. It's going to be like my forever deck. And I didn't have a good point to put it in earlier, but I just wanted to bring it up because I love it. And it's from Aftermath. And we were talking shit about it earlier. So.
Oh man, it's really cool. I haven't even delved into tricolor decks yet, so I'm going to try and do your little challenge to make it a 3-color sort of thing.
Ooh, okay. Well, thank you very much, Diana, for joining us on this winding road of a discussion about Magic and D&D and how you somehow haven't watched Lord of the Rings. Only a little bit offended.
That's fine.
I thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it.
Anytime. Thanks for having me.
For the couple dozen people that watch my podcast that don't know you for some reason, where can they find you? And what would you like them to go check out?
Oh man, I'm pretty much everywhere. So whatever your favorite social media of choice is, hopefully it's not Facebook, but I'm there too. I'm usually doing short form content on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and I'm also a streamer, as we kind of talked about earlier. I'm a Twitch partner and member of the Latin Guild, Pride Guild, and Women's Guild, as well as one of the advisors for the Tabletop Creator Club over on Twitch. So people who stream tabletop stuff have access to me to kind of talk about how to better their streams that way. And so... yeah, I do a lot of content mostly with regards to D&D, but nowadays I'm trying to make it like 50-50 D&D and then other games like Magic, other board games, all that sort of stuff. So you can find me as @Diana of the Rose on all of those platforms.
Yes. And you should go check out her various charity streams. You've been doing a lot of those recently. What was it, Doctors Without Borders?
Coming up. Yeah.
Very nice.
That was fun.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I scroll and I'm like, oh, cool, I got to go now. And then I close the app, unfortunately. But
very fair. You know, it ends up being really successful, so I'm proud of it. We'll do so many between now and the end of the year anyway. So.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you so much for coming. Thank you all for watching and enjoying this conversation, this winding nonsense as this podcast always happens to be. And we hope to see you again very soon.